Murrow Cougs, and welcome to another episode of Murrow Minutes Goes Virtual for the spring 2022 semester. My name is Mackenzie Johnson, and I'm an assistant director here in the Murrow College. And today we're talking about a really tough subject. We're talking about mental health. And we have some awesome guest speakers here, not just from our campus, but from some external resources that we're really excited to share with you today. Mental health is a really challenging topic, so please know that we are going to be talking about not only mental health, but self-care and other resources that you can reach out to on campus. If this episode by any means is triggering to you, please reach out to the resources listed in the YouTube channel below, and we'd be happy to connect with you outside of this episode. But today, like I said, we have some great guest speakers that are going to share their experiences with mental health here at WSU and what they have experienced, especially over the COVID-19 pandemic. There's been physical illness, but certainly mental illness, not just with students, but with faculty, staff, everybody in the community. So we thought that we'd get together. We'd have an honest conversation about what that looks like. What does mental health mean to us? What does self-care mean to us? And how can we do that in the midst of all this craziness? And then, like I said, share a few resources that are just different than maybe some things that you've seen in the past. So to kick us off, again, the most important thing is identification of the experiences that you've had and recognizing that you're not alone in those experiences. Everybody has a different background. Everybody comes from a different culture, from different experiences, different academic areas, but we can all connect in the fact that there's a lot going on and we can all help support each other in various ways. So with that, I'd like to kick off our conversation by turning it over to our Murrow ambassadors to talk about what mental health means to them. And first, I'll kick it off to Jackie, who is the president of our Murrow Ambassador Program.
Hi, everyone. So basically what mental health means to me, it's just kind of the state of your mind and you're inside you. And I think we need to realize it's very similar to physical health. Just like you can be physically healthy, you can be physically not healthy, and you can have broken bones and you can have a cold, and that same thing kind of what happens in our mind. And so it's just how you're doing, and there's good and bad in it. And it's okay to accept that there's going to be bad times in your mental health.
What mental health means to me is just, you can't put it in a single definition or anything. It's different for everyone, and it's going to impact everyone in different ways. And basically, just for me, it's more of a silent killer, and sometimes it can be hard to find help, and you just don't know where to start or anything, and it can hurt you a lot. And of course, it's very similar to physical health, where it's just as important, but mental health is a lot different than physical health, of course, and it's all mental, even though it feels like that, or it doesn't feel like that, but reality it is. But it can impact you in many ways though, and it can kill you a lot.
Yeah, I agree to Jackie's that it's kind of like the state of mind, and I would add to it that to me mental health means your ability to stay positive and to not let the negative emotion affect your life quality.
That's a great overview. And just like Carlos said, there's no single definition for anybody. Everyone has different experiences. Everybody has certainly different diagnoses, different things that means to them. So thank you for identifying that, Carlos. For those of you that are comfortable sharing, Jackie, Carlos, and Jade, what have been your experiences with mental health here, either at WSU or in the past, and really talking about those experiences, whether it's you, a family member, someone close to you? What's been your experience, and would you mind sharing that with us?
So for me, it's I've had a long experience with just mental health and mental illness in my family. My mom tried committing suicide when I was younger. Luckily, she's still here today, but it's still something that we experienced and I witnessed. And then I have bipolar depression. I have anxiety, I have depression. And I think in college, it's definitely, especially recently, I've had a lot of life changes. So it's kind of gotten bad for me because, in college, your life is constantly changing. You never know what's going to be thrown at you. But I've had my good times too. Like I said, my mom's still here. Every day I'm lucky that I have her still, because not everyone gets to win their battle with mental illness. So it's definitely been a rocky time in my life. And I know it's going to be something I live with forever. It's not something that can just go away. I know earlier I compared it to a broken bone, but broken bones eventually go away, but sometimes they still have their problems afterwards. It's just like that. And so I know that like I just have to keep going and I have to keep pushing because it's the best that I can do.
Yeah, the two biggest thing I struggle with is social anxiety and depression. And I didn't realize that until I started going to college. And that was my freshman year in 2019, pre-pandemic. And of course, the pandemic put the needle on that a little more. But yeah, it took a while for me to realize when I actually started out like having troubles, and like when like I was like, okay, this is not normal, of course, but it wasn't easy for sure though. It was a long road. I'm now like I'm going to therapy now. I just started this last semester through Cougar's Health Services, and it's been amazing right now. They're doing honestly, they have been great towards me, or for me, not towards me. And it's helped. Like having that outlet is something that I never thought would actually be a big thing, just talking it out. Because I'm always just used to shoving it, just keeping it to myself, because I always hate being a burden to other people. And that's like an insecurity of mine, just being up in people's business, like, and I just feel like I'd be bothering people. So for me to just go out and get help like that, and that took more than 6 years for me to go out and say, hey, I need help, after having suicidal thoughts and all that, and being on the verge of hurting myself in ways that I did not think about. But it's a long road, and no one's alone in this. So it is very difficult to get help, for sure.
So what I find myself struggling with is anxiety. Going to college is something really exciting for me. I always have so many ambitions and hopes and dreams being a college student, but sometimes that can turn into like fear. Like for me, it's the fear of not doing enough to succeed, and the fear of falling behind. So I tend to like put too much on my plate, and like I want like good grades in my classes, and I also want to get my dream internship, and I also want to be involved with as many clubs and organizations as possible, and is sometimes not really not really realistic, and that makes me feel really overwhelmed sometimes, and that has led to like overthinking and unnecessary worry about what people would think if something I do is not good enough. And like I always have so much on my mind, it is hard to sleep at night. And yeah, what I found really helpful is just to like talk it out with those who are going through the same things with my family, and try to talk it out, and make sure that I take a break whenever I feel overwhelmed. So yeah, that's my experience.
Thank you all so much for sharing what are actually very personal experiences and stories about your interaction with mental health personally, but also with friends and family. I know that is a very difficult thing to talk about, and actually all three of you mentioned that it's difficult to come forward and to let someone know that, hey, maybe I'm not doing okay. So thank you all for sharing your stories here with us. And you actually kind of started hitting on my next question, a few of you, but really, how do you stay mentally healthy? Maybe we're not there yet, right? A lot of us are dealing with our own battles that, like Jackie said, maybe continuously, more serious at sometimes than others. But if you're in a good place, or you're trying to get to that healthy place, what are the things that you do? And then again, what you guys also talked about is getting help. So in a quick kind of, hey, how did you get help? What was that? What was that thing that finally told you, I need to reach out? Who did you reach out to? Was it a friend? Was it your family? Was it maybe Cougar Health Services, like Carlos mentioned? So maybe talk a little bit about how you stay healthy, and then how you reach out for help. Jackie.
Yeah, so a couple things I like to do. Number one, play with animals. I have my cat. Animals have always been like super important for me and my mental health. Like I used to volunteer at the Humane Society just because, I mean, I don't know, you can't be sad when you're around a 15-pound tabby. Like I think that's science. I like to listen to music. Like I don't know, I just try and do what makes me happy. I watch Netflix. I watch my favorite shows. and sometimes it's gonna sound weird, I like to do my makeup because like when I'm like when I'm feeling down, I'm feeling depressed, I can see that radiating off my body, because sometimes it can get like hard to shower and get hard to like take care of yourself sometimes, and your face starts breaking out and all these things. And so I just like to make myself feel and look good on the outside so I can at least try and feel good on the inside. And then as for getting help, I turn to my friends a lot because they've been through a lot of similar experiences too. I've been through counseling for years, like since I was 4 years old. I think that something that's important to mention with counseling is it's not a one size fits all. You're not going to meet your perfect counselor right off the bat. It's okay to kind of bounce around until you find someone that you truly connect with, because it's not going to do you or them any good if you feel like obligated to be there rather than like you want to be there and you want help. But I like to turn to my friends because, like I said, they kind of face similar experiences like with me, like not the exact same, but they get it and they're people your age. And so just finding people that you can turn to in your life, they don't even have to have the same experiences. Just find people that you're comfortable talking with, because if you're not comfortable, you're going to hold a lot back, and it's not going to be as helpful as it could be.
Yeah, some things that I like to do, just like to relax myself whenever I can, is to one biggest thing for me is music. Music is a biggest comfort thing, whether it's just lo-fi or maybe my favorite rock music too. But music is always a big comforting thing for me. And sometimes I like to go back to my childhood roots, whether that's video games and or playing an old sport that you used to love. And for me, this instant is baseball. And I'm happy that I was able to pick up on that again this semester with the club baseball team here at WSU, which has really improved my mental health because that was something I let go before, but I found out that was a mistake and I should never let that go because it's making me happy again. But yeah, just having some old reliables, even something when you were a kid, that's for sure something that's gonna, in my opinion, that will help you. Because just having or just thinking or imagining that you're a kid again. Because so back in those days, of course, you didn't have stress or anything. So just picking up those things, of course, is gonna, I think it's gonna make you better. And of course, gain help. Like for me, when, like I said before, coming to college for the first time and going to a new state when I'm from California, that was like difficult, of course. So I right there was the biggest indicator because panic and anxiety attacks started coming more than usual. So it's just really important, even if you can't go get therapy or counseling, it's always good, like Jackie said, to go have a safe group of friends that you feel comfortable and safe with, and that you don't feel like you're being judged or neglected.
So for me, what I do to improve my mental health is simply just making sure that I get enough sleep at night. Just, like making sure that I take a break from doing something that makes me feel overwhelmed, and find someone who like I can talk to, about anything, that I would not have to hold back anything. And that'd be ideal if it's someone who's going through like similar situations, but a lot of time it doesn't have to be like that. And I also found that it's really helpful for me to talk to my family. Okay, like they's my number one supporters, so it's really hard to talk to them. And yeah, I think getting help from the professional would help too. For me, I found myself that like I have try not to go to seek help from professional, because sometimes I'm kind of like skeptical. Oh, is this gonna help? Because sometimes I feel like my stress does not really come from me, but it comes from my classes and other things I have going on. But making sure that you making sure to get help when you need to is really important. So yeah, that's my thought.
Thank you all for sharing that, sharing, when it was that you were able to reach out for help, what you did, talking about family and friends. Absolutely. I think something else that we'll see around the Murrow buildings, and for those of you who are on campus, those of us wearing green ribbons are really your point of contact. If you're not sure where to go, if you don't know how to get to Cougar Health Services, if you don't have someone to reach out to, any of us wearing a green ribbon in the Murrow College or on campus, we're happy to help and direct you to that space, because sometimes that's that's the hardest part, is just that first step. And I don't know where to go. But if we're here and can help you with that first step, we'd love to do that. But if the only thing that anyone takes away from this video today, it's what we've all said and what we will keep saying, which is reach out to us. It's hard. It's not easy by any means. And there may be fear of judgment. There may be fear of the stigma of mental health. There may be fear of, like Megan said, never feeling better, right? So why would I reach out if I'm never going to feel better? But reach out to us. How do you know until you try? And we're here to help you try. So reach out to us. We've got all these awesome resources that we've linked down below in our video description. So be sure to check out those links as well. We will sign off with our video today, but remembering that anyone with a green ribbon in their virtual background or wearing it on campus is available to you for anything that you may need mental health related mental health related struggles. Again, like Megan said, we are not counselors, but if you'll look at here today, we have some awesome connections with a lot of different resources that we can help get you to. So for today, Murrow Cougs, we will sign off by saying, as always, stay safe, stay healthy, and go Cougs.